The champagne tower caught the afternoon light just right, sending prismatic rainbows across the marble foyer of our family home. I stood in the doorway of what used to be my childhood bedroom, now transformed into a bridal suite, watching my younger sister Emma twirl in her custom Vera Wang gown. She looked beautiful, radiant even, and for a moment I felt nothing but genuine happiness for her. 30 minutes until showtime, I said, adjusting the pale blue bridesmaid dress that Emma had chosen for me. You ready? Emma's eyes met mine in the mirror, and something flickered there. Something I couldn't quite read. Maya, can you give us a minute? Mom wants to talk to me alone. I should have recognized the warning signs then. The way Emma wouldn't hold my gaze. The tension in Mom's shoulders as she brushed past me into the room. The whispered conversation that started the moment I stepped into the hallway. But I didn't. I was too focused on making sure everything was perfect for Emma's big day. I'd been living in the family home for the past 8 years, ever since Dad's first heart attack when I was 22. I'd postponed my master's degree, turned down a job offer in Chicago, and moved back to help Mom manage everything. According to YouTube analytics, 99.6% of viewers are not subscribed. That's a huge number. By subscribing the channel that is completely free, you'll help support the channel and never miss fresh content. The house, the bills, Dad's medical expenses, it had all fallen on my shoulders while Emma finished college, then law school, then started her career in Manhattan. Not that I minded. Family takes care of family. That's what Dad always said. I'd paid the mortgage for 6 years now, along with the property taxes, utilities, and maintenance. When Dad retired early due to his health and Mom's part-time income wasn't enough, I'd stepped up. I worked remotely as a software developer, which gave me the flexibility to be there for Dad's doctor appointments and Mom's book club meetings and every family dinner in between. The house had been in Dad's name originally, but 3 years ago, when he was convinced he wouldn't make it through another surgery, he'd transferred everything to me. You've earned this, he'd said, his hand shaking as he signed the papers. You gave up your life for us. This is yours now. I'd cried and told him not to talk like that, but I'd accepted the responsibility. The house was mine legally, but it had never felt like mine. It was our family home, a place where everyone was always welcome. The ceremony was perfect. Emma and her fiancé Ryan exchanged vows under a flower arch in the garden, the same garden where we'd played as children. I held her bouquet and fought back tears during their first kiss as husband and wife. The reception was in full swing when my father found me near the dessert table. Maya, we need to talk. His voice was stern, the tone he used to use when I'd broken curfew in high school. Sure, Dad. What's up? Not here, in the study. My stomach nodded, but I followed him through the crowd, smiling at relatives and dodging questions about when I'd find someone special. Mom was already waiting in the study when we arrived, her face set in hard lines. Sit down, Dad said. I'd rather stand. What's this about? Mom folded her arms. Maya, we've been discussing this for months now. Emma and Ryan need a place to start their marriage. Ryan's apartment in the city is too small, and with Emma's student loans... We want you to move out, Dad interrupted. We need this house for Emma and Ryan. The room tilted slightly. Excuse me? You've had plenty of time here, Mom continued, her voice taking on that reasonable tone she used when she'd already made up her mind. You're 30 years old. It's time you got your own place. Emma's married now. She needs stability. This is my house. You transferred the deed to me 3 years ago. I've been paying for everything. Dad's face reddened. That was a technicality for estate planning. This has always been the family home. Your mother and I raised you here. We have a right to decide who lives here. A technicality? My voice came out higher than I intended. I've paid $60,000 in mortgage payments. another 30 in property taxes, not to mention utilities, repairs, the new roof last year. And we raised you for 18 years, Mom snapped. Changed your diapers, paid for your food, your clothes, your education. Do you want to calculate who owes whom? That's completely different. I'm not asking you to move out. I'm living here because you asked me to come back, because Dad was sick and you needed help. And now we need you to help by giving your sister a proper start to her marriage. Dad stood up, towering over me the way he had when I was little. Emma deserves this, Maya. She's worked hard. She's making something of herself. Meanwhile, you're sitting here in our house, working in your pajamas, never going out. Because I've been taking care of you. The words burst out of me, too loud, too raw. I gave up Chicago. I gave up my relationship with Derek because he wouldn't do long distance. I've put my entire life on hold for this family. Nobody asked you to do that, Mom said coldly. You made those choices, and now we're making ours. You have 30 days to find a new place. 30 days? Are you insane? This is my property. Legally, I have the deed. Dad's expression turned ugly. You want to get lawyers involved with your own family? Fine. We'll tell everyone out there what an ungrateful, selfish daughter you are. How you're trying to make your sister homeless on her wedding day. I'm not. This is insane. You can't kick me out of my own house. Lower your voice, Mom hissed. You're making a scene. This is Emma's day. I looked between them, searching for any sign of the parents who'd raised me, who'd told me they loved me, who'd said I was their rock during Dad's darkest days. I found only strangers wearing their faces. Get out, Dad said quietly. Get out of this study and get out of this house. If you can't be happy for your sister, then you're not welcome here. You can't. Get out. The roar sent me stumbling backward. Get out of my sight! I ran. Through the study door, through the hallway lined with family photos, out the front entrance where valets were parking guests' cars. Someone called after me, maybe Emma, maybe one of my aunts. But I kept running until I reached my car at the end of the long driveway. I sat in the driver's seat, shaking, my bridesmaid dress wrinkled and my makeup running. The sun was setting, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink. Inside the house I'd poured my life into, music played and people laughed and celebrated while I fell apart. That's when the clarity came. Cold, sharp, absolute. If they wanted the house so badly, they could have it. But they'd learn exactly what it cost to run it. I drove to my friend Rachel's apartment and spent the night on her couch, crying and planning in equal measure. By morning, I'd made my decisions. Monday morning, I walked into my bank at opening time. I need to remove authorized users from all my accounts, I told the banker, sliding over the list. Mom and Dad's names were on my checking account, something I'd set up years ago, so they could access money for Dad's prescriptions if I was ever unavailable. They'd never abused it, never taken more than they needed. That was about to change. And I need to stop all automatic payments associated with these accounts. The banker, a middle-aged woman named Susan, looked concerned. All of them? That includes your mortgage, property taxes, utilities. All of them, I confirmed. Ms. Chen, if you don't pay your mortgage, the house is paid off, I said calmly. It was true. I'd made the final payment 8 months ago, throwing a chunk of my savings at it to eliminate the debt. I'd thought I was securing our family's future. I'm just stopping the automatic payments for utilities and property tax. Understanding dawned on Susan's face. She'd probably seen family drama play out across her desk 100 times. I'll process this right away. Next, I called every utility company: electric, gas, water, internet. The security system. I need to cancel service at this address, I said each time, providing the house details. Most customer service reps tried to talk me into transferring service rather than canceling. I politely declined, not my problem anymore. The lawn service got a cancellation call, the house cleaning service, the pool maintenance company, the premium cable package Mom loved, the pest control service, the HVAC maintenance plan. One by one, I severed every service I'd been paying for. Then I called my lawyer. I'd gotten one the previous night, a recommendation from Rachel, whose firm did contract law. My situation was unusual, but Jeffrey Klein was confident. "The deed is in your name?" he asked. "Yes, I have all the documentation, transfer papers, death deed, everything." "And you've been paying all expenses for how long?" 8 years total, 6 years of mortgage before I paid it off. All property taxes, insurance, maintenance, utilities. "Do your parents pay rent?" "No, I never charged them anything." I could hear the smile in Jeffrey's voice. "Ms. Chen, your parents are tenants. You're the property owner. In this state, you can evict tenants with 30 days' notice for any reason or no reason at all, as long as proper procedure is followed." "I want them out. All of them. My parents, my sister, her husband." "Consider it done. I'll draft the eviction notice today. We'll have it served by the end of the week." "One more thing," I said. "They're going to contest this. They'll say the deed transfer was just for estate planning, that I stole the house. Do you have the original paperwork? Documentation showing you've paid for everything? Bank statements going back 8 years, receipts for every major repair, the mortgage payment history in my name. Then they can contest all they want. The law is clear. The house is yours. You've been more than generous allowing them to live there rent-free. That generosity is now over." I felt something shift in my chest. Not quite relief, not quite satisfaction. More like a door closing on one chapter of my life and another, uncertain one, beginning to open. The first text came Tuesday afternoon. "Mom, the power just went out. Did you forget to pay the bill?" I didn't respond. "Mom, Maya, this isn't funny. Your father needs his CPAP machine. Mom, answer me." Wednesday morning brought a call from Dad. I let it go to voicemail. "Maya, I don't know what kind of stunt you're pulling, but the internet is out and we can't get hot water. Your mother tried to pay the electric bill, but they said the account is closed. Call me back immediately." I deleted the voicemail. Emma's text came Wednesday evening. "Emma, what the hell, Maya? Mom called me crying. Why did you cancel everything?" Me, "Because I don't live there anymore. Remember? You needed the house for your marriage." Emma, "That doesn't mean you stop paying the bills. People still live here." Me, "You live there. You're an attorney. You know how bills work. Pay them yourself." Emma, "This is so petty. I can't believe you're doing this on my wedding week." Me, "I can't believe you knew they were kicking me out and said nothing." She didn't text back. Thursday, the eviction notice was served. Jeffrey had hired a process server who handed the papers directly to my father at 9 a.m. The phone call started immediately. I blocked Mom's number after the 5th call, then Dad's, then Emma's. They tried to reach me through aunts, uncles, family friends. I blocked them all. Friday afternoon, Emma showed up at Rachel's apartment. I'd made the mistake of mentioning where I was staying in one of my last texts to her. "Maya, please," she said through the door. "We need to talk." Rachel looked at me. I shook my head. "She doesn't want to talk to you," Rachel called out. "Maya, Mom and Dad are sorry. They overreacted. Just come home and we can work this out." I opened the door then, just to see her face. Emma looked terrible. Her hair was unwashed, and she had dark circles under her eyes. "Work what out?" I asked calmly. "You have 4 weeks to find a new place. That's more than Dad gave me." You can't evict us? It's our family home. It's my house. Legally, financially, in every way that matters. Dad's sick. You know his heart. Then he should have thought about that before screaming at me to get out. I kept my voice level, detached. I gave 8 years to this family. I sacrificed everything, and the moment it became inconvenient for you, I was disposable. That's not, we didn't mean, you knew, I said, and Emma flinched. I saw it in your face that day. You knew what they were planning. You could have warned me. You could have said something. But you wanted the house, too. Ryan and I don't care what you need. You're all adults with jobs. Figure it out. I closed the door in her face and ignored the knocking that followed. The next 3 weeks were a masterclass in family implosion. My extended family divided into camps. Most sided with my parents. How can you do this to your own family? But a few, mostly younger cousins who'd seen me sacrifice for years, reached out with quiet support. My Aunt Jennifer called me directly. Your mother is telling everyone you've stolen the house and left them destitute. The house has been in my name for 3 years. I have the deed, and they asked me to leave. I know, honey. Your cousin Mike told me what really happened. He was at the wedding. She sighed. I gave your parents money for a hotel when they said you'd made them homeless. I'd like that back. I never made them homeless. They have 30 days to find a place. That's more notice than they gave me. I'm realizing that now. I'm sorry I didn't get your side first. A few other relatives followed suit, demanding refunds for the emergency help they'd given my parents. The family rumor mill worked faster than any social media algorithm. Week 3, my lawyer called. Your parents have retained counsel, Jeffrey said. They're claiming undue influence, that your father wasn't of sound mind when he transferred the property. My blood ran cold. Can they prove that? They'd have to show he was incapacitated or coerced. Was he? No, he was recovering from surgery, but he was completely lucid. His doctor had cleared him for all major decisions. We had the signing witnessed and notarized. Then they're grasping at straws. Let them waste their money on lawyers. The law is on your side. But it rattled me. I'd thought I was done feeling hurt by them, but the idea that they'd claim Dad was incompetent when he'd made that choice out of love and gratitude, it opened up fresh wounds. Week 4 arrived. Moving day. I hired a moving company and storage facility for anything they left behind. I changed all the locks. I had the security system reprogrammed with new codes, and I went to the house for the first time in a month. They were still there at 8 a.m., boxes scattered across the front lawn. Ryan's car was packed to the ceiling. Emma sat on the front steps, crying. Mom stood beside her, tight-lipped and furious. Dad was loading a U-Haul truck, his face red with exertion. You shouldn't be lifting heavy things, I said as I walked up. Old habits. Don't you dare, Mom hissed. Don't you dare pretend to care. I'm not pretending. I'm just stating a fact. I held up the new keys. You have 2 hours to finish. Anything left behind goes to storage. You'll have 30 days to claim it before it's donated. This is elder abuse, Mom said. We're going to sue you for everything you have. Sue away. I have 8 years of bank statements showing I paid for everything. I have the legal deed. I have witnesses to Dad telling me to leave. Take me to court. Please. Dad stumped over, breathing hard. You've become cruel, Maya. I don't know what happened to my little girl. The words should have hurt more than they did. Maybe I'd finally run out of feelings to hurt. Your little girl gave you 8 years of her life, I said quietly. She put her dreams on hold, paid your bills, made sure you had everything you needed, and the moment she became inconvenient, you threw her away. So, maybe ask yourself what happened to the father I used to have. the one who taught me that family takes care of each other. I walked past him into the house. It was strange seeing it empty of their personal belongings. The walls had lighter patches where photos had hung. The living room looked cavernous without Mom's collection of ceramic angels. But it felt lighter, too, like I could finally breathe. I found Emma in her old bedroom, my old bedroom, staring at the walls. "We bought a condo," she said without looking at me, "in Jersey City. Ryan's parents are helping with the down payment. Congratulations. It's small, 2 bedrooms, nothing like this. You'll make it your own." She finally turned to face me. "I'm sorry for not warning you, for going along with it." "Okay. That's it? Just okay? What do you want me to say, Emma? That I forgive you? That we can go back to how things were?" I shook my head. "You made your choice. You chose the house over me. You chose your convenience over my life. I hope it was worth it." "It wasn't," she whispered. "Ryan and I have been fighting nonstop. He thinks the whole thing is my fault. And Mom, she won't stop talking about how ungrateful you are. I can't take it anymore." "Then maybe you understand a fraction of what I felt when they kicked me out at your wedding." I left her there and walked through the rest of the house, room by room, saying goodbye to memories and ghosts. By 10 a.m., they were gone. The U-Haul pulled away, followed by Emma and Ryan's cars. Mom didn't look back. Dad stared at the house through his window, his face unreadable. Emma lifted one hand in what might have been a wave. I stood in the doorway of my house, and felt the weight of the past month crash over me. I'd won. The house was mine, clear and legal. My family was gone. I'd gotten my revenge. So why did it feel so hollow? Rachel came over that evening with wine and Thai food. "How are you feeling?" she asked, curling up on the couch, my couch in my living room in my house. "I don't know. Relieved, sad, angry, all of the above?" "That's normal. You did what you had to do." "Did I, though? Should I have just let them have it? Been the bigger person?" "And what? Let them walk all over you? Maya, they kicked you out of your own house, at a wedding, with 0 notice. They thought you'd just roll over and take it because that's what you've always done." "Maybe I should have. Maybe this makes me just as bad as them." Rachel grabbed my shoulders, forcing me to look at her. "Listen to me. You are not bad for having boundaries. You are not cruel for protecting yourself. They chose their actions. You just chose not to be a doormat anymore. It doesn't feel like winning. Because you actually loved them. That's the difference between you and them. They were willing to use you without caring how it felt. You're standing up for yourself while still grieving the relationship you thought you had." We sat in silence for a while, eating pad thai and drinking wine while the sun set through the big bay windows. "What are you going to do now?" Rachel asked eventually. "I don't know. Keep working, I guess. Figure out what I want this house to be. Maybe get a dog." "What about Chicago? That job offer might still be available." I thought about it. The dreams I'd deferred. The life I'd put on hold. It felt like a different person had wanted those things. "Maybe," I said, "but I think I need to figure out who I am first. I've been taking care of other people for so long, I don't know what I want anymore." "Then that's your new project, finding Maya." 3 months later, I was hosting Thanksgiving dinner. Not for my family. I hadn't spoken to any of them since moving day. But for my chosen family, Rachel and her boyfriend. 2 colleagues from work, a neighbor who'd become a friend. My cousin Mike, who'd quietly supported me through everything. The house was warm and full of laughter. I'd redecorated the living room, painted my bedroom a deep teal, and converted Dad's study into a home gym. The place was becoming mine, slowly but surely. My phone buzzed during dessert, a text from an unknown number. "This is Emma. I'm using a new phone. I wanted you to know Dad's in the hospital. Another heart attack. It's serious. My hands shook as I read it. I thought you should know. No one expects you to come, but I thought you deserved to know. I excused myself and stood in the kitchen, staring at the message. The old Maya would have rushed to the hospital immediately, would have pushed aside every hurt and betrayal because family was in crisis. But I wasn't that Maya anymore. I thought about Dad's red face as he screamed at me to leave. Mom's cold dismissal of everything I'd sacrificed. The way they'd tried to paint me as a thief and abuser to everyone who would listen. I thought about the 8 years I'd given them, the love I'd poured into taking care of them. And I thought about the fact that Emma had texted me, not Mom or Dad, that no one expected me to come. I texted back, "Thank you for letting me know. I hope he recovers." Then I blocked the new number and returned to my dinner party. Rachel caught my eye across the table, a question on her face. I smiled and shook my head slightly. "Who wants more pie?" I asked, and the moment passed. That night, alone in my house, I let myself cry. Not for what I'd done, but for what I'd lost. The family I'd thought I had turned out to be an illusion. The parents who'd raised me to believe in loyalty and sacrifice had taught me the hardest lesson of all. That sometimes the people who should love you most are the ones who hurt you deepest. But I'd also learned that I was stronger than I thought, that I could stand up for myself even when it cost me everything. That I was worth more than being someone's convenient caretaker. The house creaked around me, settling into the night. My house, my home, my life. It wasn't the life I'd planned. It wasn't the family I'd wanted. But it was mine, built on my own terms, and that was worth something. Maybe it was worth everything. I picked up my phone and opened my email. The Chicago firm's website was still there, their careers page still listing openings. I'd looked at it a dozen times over the past few months, always closing the tab before I could talk myself into applying. This time, I clicked Submit Application and attached my resume. Maybe I'd stay in the house. Maybe I'd sell it and start fresh somewhere new. Maybe I'd find a middle ground I hadn't imagined yet. But whatever I chose, it would be my choice, my decision, my life. And after 8 years of living for everyone else, that felt like the sweetest revenge of all.